Good morning, everyone. It's a very windy day here at Epcot. So today is Friday, and we are on the heel of a crazy, not busy week here at the Walt Disney World Resort. This is, I feel like this audio is going to be pretty bad because of how windy it is. But we're gonna see what happens. I think it'll get better once I walk through this sort of wind corridor right here. But yeah, there's been some Epcot news announced recently, so we'll talk about that. But also, all the rides have such crazy low ratings right now. I think Ratatouille was hosting 15 minutes a few minutes ago, so let's go check out some stuff. You see, it was raining pretty heavily earlier this morning. Custodial was trying to keep up and keep the seats clean, but it must have been a thankless battle earlier. Hopefully it's getting better though. See our friend over there squeegeeing the bench. Yeah, it's getting better. I think we're on the other side of it now. I see Pluto's down here meeting, and then Daisy is back over there. There's a PhotoPass person over here in the middle with a little barrel of oranges. I guess that's to a fun little PhotoPass prop. But yeah, so we have the I don't know, what do you call it, the little event space over there, opening up in a couple weeks, or not a couple weeks, June, I think it's 10th. So it's coming up. I wouldn't necessarily say it's coming up quick. As a reminder, this was all supposed to be done in December, allegedly. So it's a little behind, but I haven't been here since the start of Flower and Garden. It's looking much better. All the plants are starting to flower. We're getting some more color here. It's a nicer environment now. The trees are starting to, you know, grow into themselves. Same with all the other foliage and plant life. So it's looking good. It's getting there. You know, this was not designed to open in December. You know, it's an experience that's based on, you know, trees having leaves and flowers being on bushes, and honestly there being flower beds full. So, you know, this is the season that this was designed to open in, and you can tell it looks so much nicer. You know, now that you're not just looking at like sticks everywhere. So I don't know how late we're gonna be here. Probably not super late, but yeah, so we won't probably be back here tonight, but it's always nice to sort of poke around if I am back later. So we'll go keep walking though. So you can see they're starting to put in the final steps over here. They have those little triangle panels right there. There's a bunch on the other half of the building too. A bunch of them extrude out on 2/3 of the sides, and like the bottom portion on most of them is open, but then there's also flat ones. I have a theory, and I'm sure this is 100%, those flat ones are definitely going to light up, so it's going to look really cool at night. If you're familiar with like Nanoleaf or Govee sort of panel lighting, kind of sort of the same thing. So I don't know, it's getting there. It smells like paint though. They are actively working, as you can tell by them actively working. And then there's like actual like visible construction over here for the first time in a while. So here's sort of the other side of the, what's it called? The Communicore Plaza, Communicore Stations, I don't know. This thing. So you see the back side of it is starting to get those cool little panels up there. The lighting's actually on, so they're doing some sort of testing with those being on. You can see the one over there and the one a little bit closer here are both on. Something that's interesting is all the planters are over here for Flower and Garden. So the expectation is, like, you know, obviously this will be done June 10th, but I would imagine that this sort of circular pathway opens up at some point, especially because it's just the hedge wall here, you know, and there's probably not too much work that needs to be done to connect here to there, especially because that's a pathway that already exists. So I wouldn't be surprised if that opens up a little bit earlier. And then you can see sort of inside that covered area is where that Encanto sing-along show is going to go. I saw some discourse on Twitter. It doesn't look amazing. You know, it's not like, you know, it's not Festival of the Lion King. But, you know, you never know if it's going to turn into the next Frozen sing-along. You know, Frozen sing-along is one of the highest rated shows at Disney. And so I wouldn't be surprised if something, you know, sparks from this that turns into an experience like that. You know, maybe even getting a more permanent home in World Showcase in the future. Something else I'll mention while we're here is all the meet and greets over here are closing. So I know Mickey's going over here is like the new character spot. But I think Figment's also moving over here, maybe. And then Joy is leaving, or she's meeting in two places. I don't know. The wording was sort of vague and iffy on that one. But yes, that's all happening June 10th. It seems like there's new stuff in all of the non-Magic Kingdom parks on June 10th, which has led to pretty heavy speculation that June 10th is going to be the opening day of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and they're just trying to like pad in things in the other parks just to make it a little bit more appetizing to not be at Magic Kingdom that day. So June 10th is where a lot of this stuff's going down. The downside to all this construction is the pathway from Figment over into really anywhere else in the park is closed right now. So you gotta schlep it all the way back through over here, which isn't, you know, the worst thing in the world. The new area is nice, but you have to hike all the way through here and then cut across. And then we have the other side of this building over here. There were some complaints on Twitter, people being like, oh, it looks like a warehouse or whatever. It looks fine. It's like a covered patio, you know? It's like, the coloring is nice. It's like the Epcot, like, almost like perfect black, you know? Like, I don't know, it like matches these walls. It's fine. You know, the shade will be greatly appreciated as another opportunity to enjoy entertainment at Epcot. You know, like it checks the boxes. You can see some purple martins hanging out. If you watch the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney Plus, there's a really cool segment about purple martins and how important their migration patterns are, and sort of what the Walt Disney Company does to support these birds, and how they encourage them to I don't know, I guess migrate through Walt Disney World. But yeah, this whole bird garden area is really cool. And then there's Songbird Meadow, I guess is what they've dubbed it. And then it looks like they're petitioning for cardinals here. I don't see any, but very, very cool. This is a nice welcomed addition. I don't know anything about birds. It says purple martins over there. They kind of just look like small crows, which it said the male ones are sort of like that darker feathering. So maybe it is them. And you know, they're not like crazy, you know, like stupid big like most crows are. So maybe they are purple martins, but my eyesight ain't good enough to tell. Also, I just don't know enough about birds. It looks like they're rather, it sounds like Test Track is back open. This park was doing really well with wait times earlier today, but the second like Test Track and like maybe another ride go down for, you know, whatever reason, it really hurts the other attractions in the area. Like for example, this morning Test Track and Frozen Ever After went down as I was walking in, and the wait times just all across the board shot up. Mission Space shot up to 60 minutes. I'm like, whoa, that's unusual for you. Tron was down this morning at Magic Kingdom. Everest was down at DAC. So, you know, it's always not a great experience when those attractions go down. But speaking of Test Track going down, there's I guess a rumor going around on some of the Disney blogs, you know, unsubstantiated by any actual like confirmation of anything. But there's a rumor that Test Track is going down for its, I wouldn't even call it a refurb, I'll call it a retheme. It's going down for its retheme in July. So that would also tie into why you want to get more things open in June. That way they're firing on all cylinders by July, just to sort of work step in line with that refurbishment for Test Track, or retheme rather. So this is what I'm talking about with the wait times being so low. Test Track standby wait is 20 minutes right now. Does it look like 20 minutes? Yeah, it's moving. I'd agree to that. So, as I say that, it bumped up to 55. That feels more like Test Track. But part of what's playing into that is they have been down for the past 90 or so minutes. So they have like roughly 2 hours of people, of displaced lightning lane to get through. So as you see, nobody has shown up yet. But when they do start to show up, that standby line is going to slow down. But for right now, it's going to be moving pretty quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these people waiting do only end up waiting 20 or 30 minutes. All right, it's loud over here, so we're going to keep moving. I know abandoned is like the wrong word to use, but like the really tall foliage over there just makes Wonders of Life or Play Pavilion or whatever you want to call it just not look like it's in like the best shape. I don't know. You know, it's very possible that like one of the things Disney's going to announce at D23 is like, what's next for this space, you know? And the cool thing about it is they could have already started. They probably didn't. You know, let's get that out of the way. They probably didn't, but they could have like started and almost finished construction of something in here and then be like, oh yeah, by the way, this thing's opening in like 2 months. I mean, they could do that and say it's opening tomorrow. They're not going to, but like, you know, it's possible. Yeah, because it is literally just blocked off. I think the pathway used to be right here. You can kind of see where the old concrete and the new concrete ended. At least you used to be able to tell. Maybe I'm not over far enough. Or maybe it's just faded back in so well. But yeah, there used to be some sort of delineation over here that you were able to tell sort of what was going on. But who knows? We'll see what happens with that. I think the Buzztopia area is probably one of my favorites. It is so on model. You know, some of them are looking a little silly, but that one is just so on model. And whereas like a lot of them have to cheat, like his entire body is flowers. You know, whereas you come over here to Groot, and I haven't seen this one yet, but most of Groot is not shrub, but it looks great. Welcome to Disham. So every year they sort of like replace these like I don't know, the Fab 5 ones that used to be at the main entrance every year, or like in some elevated position, and now they're just like at ground level with everyone, and it's so weird because they are massive. Like Donald Duck is huge, but the effect is like when it was up in the original planter area at the front of the park, you didn't necessarily notice it as much because it was a little bit further in, it was higher up, but like Donald Duck is a tall boy here. The Goofy one is nuts also, but Donald's pretty big. Alright, I haven't seen anybody post about these yet. I was just sort of walking by and happened to look left. Look at these little dinosaurs. These little plastic ones. Yeah, this is so cute. The festival team does such a great job with Epcot. You know, like, these are people that care about what they do. You know, like the holiday overlays. The Live with the Land is like a perfect example of like, these people get Epcot and they care, and you know, silly stuff like this is all just sort of part of that. This whole section is about prehistoric plants, and the reason I say that, like, it's so fun, and it's because they care, because that used to be Ellen's Energy Adventure and the Energy Pavilion, and so I guess it still is the Energy Pavilion. But dinosaurs and prehistoric times used to be a pretty big part of it, so it's cool that, you know, it lives on in that little tiny baby Easter egg.
A few of the edible plants that have been an important source of nutrition for people living in the tropics. Many are rich in vitamins and minerals, while others are well adapted to growing in less than ideal conditions. Some, like the water lily, thrive in wet, swampy areas and waterways. All parts of this plant, even the flower petal, are edible. The starchy root of the plant has long been used to make flour for baking. Some of our best ideas have been inspired by nature, like these fruit and vegetable trees. By growing these ground plants vertically, we can increase yields and better control diseases. These crops taste as good as they look. In fact, we serve more than 15 tons of produce from our greenhouses in restaurants here at the Land every year. The future of agriculture may include innovative ideas like this vertical growing system. Plants grown in this way use a fraction of the space required by traditional growing methods. That saves water and increases production. The aquaponics system on your left combines hydroponics with aquaculture. The fish provide a natural source of fertilizer for the plants, and the plants help keep the water clean for the fish.
Alrighty, friends, so I have some stuff I have to go do. So I am leaving Epcot. I may come back to a different park a little bit later in the day. But if not, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening. Remember to be kind to yourself, and have a nice day. I guess if I do come back to it, I'll just make a separate video. So these aren't really like daily vlogs. It's like as I do things. But yeah, I guess that's a pretty good roundup for what's happening at Epcot right now. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.